Throwing potatoes, yeah!
Hello, Internet! Welcome back to Throwing Potatoes, the most popular program on the Internet! According to what I whisper to myself every night so that I can make the night terrors go away. We've got a good one for you today. Since you all liked my video, Cody yells at words for 20 minutes, I've decided to make a sequel. Except this time, I yell at more than one word at a time. Yeah, that's right, it's time for...
Top 10 Terrible Expressions.
Alright, there's not much to explain here, and I'm too lazy to write a joke for this part of the video, so let's just head on straight to number 10.
Number 10.
Scot-free. Saying you got away scot-free means that you got away with something with no consequences. But historically, that doesn't make any sense. English comes from England, obviously. And if I remember history correctly, which I probably do, England never exactly got away scot-free with Scotland. The only time they would have been scot-free is if they would have gotten rid of the Scots entirely. But given that Scotland still exists, that clearly didn't happen. The Scots wanting their freedom is exactly why England could not get off scot-free in the first place. The Scots wanting to be free made it so England could not get away scot-free. The Scots wanting their independence from England was a thorn in England's backside for centuries, but somehow being scot-free means that there were no consequences. That just doesn't make any sense! There's no joke here. There's no punchline. I just wanted people to know that I don't understand it. Moving on!
Number 9.
Cold as hell. I'm going to talk to every person who has ever uttered this phrase right now. Directly. If you have ever said this, please pay attention to what I'm about to say. Is everyone seated and ready to pay attention? Good. Okay. You do know that one of the defining characteristics of hell is how hot it is, right? There's a reason hell is often associated with the color red. It's because it's freaking hot! Hell is so hot all the time that a common expression for something extremely unlikely happening is that it'll happen when hell freezes over. It's so hot that there will be ice in hell the day the Vikings win the Super Bowl, so hell is never, under any circumstances, ever going to be anywhere close to cold! When you say cold as hell, you are contradicting yourself and making yourself look like a complete idiot who has no idea what they are talking about in front of dozens of people. How dare you! That is my job!
Number 8.
The jig is up. This means whatever you were doing, that's now over. Here's my problem. What does that have to do with jigs? What does a harmless dance have to do with stopping something from happening? When I think of dancing, I'm usually thinking that things are going to start happening, not stop. And the jig is up? How does anyone jig up? I can see someone jigging forwards and backwards, maybe side to side, and possibly down if they fall off a cliff while dancing. But how on earth does someone jig up? You can't jig while going upstairs, that's far too dangerous. And you certainly can't jig while climbing up a mountain. No one has ever had the calf strength for that. So in what universe does saying that a dance going in an impossible direction mean that whatever illicit activity you are doing is going to stop now? Can someone please explain that to me?
Number 7.
Down to earth. Okay, this one is both wrong and is also extremely offensive to several groups of people. First, you're saying that humble people are down to earth implies that all astronauts are selfish jerks. How dare you! Those men and women are heroes! They went to space! They risked their lives for science! Your stupid expression is hurting all of these innocent astronauts! You're calling Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin egomaniacs! Those men are American heroes, you communists! Second, every single person that I know at the moment has lived on Earth. Some of those people aren't humble at all. Some of those people are narcissistic, self-praising lunatics who only care about themselves and their accomplishments. Yeah, I'm looking at you, buddy. You are a real piece of shit sometimes. Yes, Steve, I know I'm looking in the mirror. What does that have to do with it? And my last point. Your expression is saying that short people are humble. That anyone who is tall is an incomprehensible brute. I'll have you know that every single short person that I know is a complete egomaniac and is the exact opposite of down-to-earth, so take that! Well, except for you, Katie. You are a nice person. And cut.
Who's Katie?
Yeah, well, I have like 8 friends that are named Katie, and I'm only referring to one. I just want to see them fight about how humble they are.
Number 6.
Ring any bells? Where were you on the night of January 17th, 2013? No answer. Well, does this 3-hole punch ring any bells? Okay, if you didn't know what that meant before, now you do. It's like a memory thing. Okay, so when have bells had anything to do with memory? I can understand a light bulb. That gag has been around for years, but when has anyone ever passed a church when its bells were going off and said to themselves, "Oh no, I forgot to get the dry cleaning"? Never. That situation just doesn't happen. Bells don't remind people of things they've forgotten. People don't associate bells with memory. They never have. Simple as that. Go away, Pavlov! I'm trying to make a video!
Number 5.
Almost forever. Okay, this expression isn't as much of an expression as everything else on this list, but it's my list and I really wanted to talk about it. Yes, it's my list! I make the rules! I can do whatever I want! Including shoehorn a topic in that gave me the idea in the first place but wasn't as related to everything else as much as I originally intended. Almost forever is literally impossible. No matter what circumstances you are in, there is no way for something to last for pretty much forever. Forever means that something is happening for an infinite amount of time. So there are 2 possible scenarios. 1. The thing that you were talking about happened for a long amount of time, but has ended or will end. That means it is finite. You are literally an infinite distance from forever. That amount of time is just as close to being infinite as any other amount of time, because it is an infinite length of time away. Scenario 2. The thing that you were talking about actually does go on forever. In that case, it doesn't almost go on forever because it literally is forever. If something is exactly the same as something else, it can't be almost that thing because it is that thing. The number 10 isn't almost the number 10 because it already is the number 10. You can't be something if you already are it. I wonder if they'll have any idea what I'm talking about. Probably not. Honestly, this script is complete garbage. I wonder who wrote it. You know what? Whoever wrote this thing needs to be fired immediately. Wait, I wrote this? Then how dare you sully my reputation? I can't fire me! I quit!
Number 4.
Subpar. If you did something and someone calls it subpar, that means it was below average. You didn't do all that well. However, in golf, when you go under par, that means you're doing better than expected because you're trying to get the lowest score possible. So that means if you're on a golf course and someone says you're doing subpar, we have no idea what you mean. That could mean you were doing both good and bad. It's a paradox. A golf paradox. The kind of paradox that would tear Scotland apart! And subpar here obviously refers to being below par, since sub always means below. Submarine and Subway are 2 prime examples. And by Subway I mean both the underground transport system and the sandwich franchise, because their sandwiches are below my quality standards. This top 10 has been brought to you by Quiznos. Eat here, you probably won't die.
Number 3.
In a pickle. If you're in a metaphorical pickle, you are in a very complex situation that is difficult to get out of. But neither of those things have anything to do with actual pickles. First off, pickles aren't even that complex. It doesn't take much brain power to understand a pickle. A pickle is just a cucumber soaked in brine, and a cucumber is a green cylinder thingy that people put on salads. Pickles aren't confusing at all. Secondly, being metaphorically in a pickle means that the situation is hard to get out of. But if you were literally inside a pickle, getting out wouldn't be that difficult. You just start digging in pretty much any direction. The skin would probably be the only thing to cause a problem, but that would be only a tiny bit more effort to get through. Now, if you really want a vegetable that doesn't make any sense and is hard to get out of for your metaphor, use something that makes sense. I don't know, like a carrot. I don't understand carrots, and these things would take forever to get through. Oh my god, it's perfect! Steve, call the president!
Number 2.
Near miss. The expression, a near miss, means that you barely got out of something. You almost crashed, but you got out of it at the last second. But look at the expression by itself without context. Near miss, meaning that you almost missed them, which means that you hit them, which is the exact outcome you were trying to avoid in the first place. Would you say, man, I nearly dodged a bullet there? No, of course not. That's stupid. That just means you didn't actually dodge the bullet and you got hit. So if it looks stupid there, why doesn't it look stupid here? Come on, guy who makes up expressions. I know you're not very good at this, but some things are just ridiculous.
Number 1. Head over heels.
If I'm head over heels in love with someone, that means that I'm very, very in love with that person. But here's the thing. Head over heels is our normal state. We're always head over heels. If we're not, we fall over. Watch. If we're head over heels for someone, that should mean nothing's changed. Everything is stable. But that is clearly not what this expression means, however. Now, does this look like a guy who's in love? No. This just looks like a guy who is stuck in line at the DMV. Now see? This is a guy in love. He's upside down and a lot less stable, and wanting to move around a lot more. That is what love looks like, I think. No one will ever love me. If you want the expression to make sense, it just needs to be the exact opposite of what it is right now. If you're heels over head for someone, that's when you really know it's real. Oh, see? Even Derek's in love right now. Wait. Does he even have feet? I don't think so. If you don't have feet, can you be heels over head for someone? I don't know. I'm gonna check what he has. What do you have? Let me see. Hey, you made it to the end. Good job. Why don't you reward yourself by hitting that subscribe button? It's the most fun thing to do since the invention of the miniature helicopter. If you like my work, please make sure to show it to others so they can enjoy it as well, and so that I can get more exposure. The more exposure, the more ideas I'll get from the fans, the better the videos I'll make. It's a perfect system! And if you have an idea for next week's show, don't be afraid to leave me a comment. Alright, I've got more stuff I need to do, but until next time, Internet, I've been your host, Cody. Au revoir!